Hello, and welcome to Power Standard Number 1, Citing Textual Evidence. Together, we will work the strategies discussed in the lecture video. Now, here is where we're going to work together, and we're going to do that. I'm still going to be modeling. So, we should be on page 2 of the practice activity sheet for citing textual evidence. You should be on page 2, part 2, text number 1. So, as a class, we're going to read the Washington Post article, Video Game Addiction, a Real Problem, Study Finds. Now, as we read, we're going to highlight in yellow or underline in pencil the evidence that supports that video game addiction is a real problem. We're going to highlight in pink or underline in pen the evidence that supports video game addiction isn't a problem. So, yellow is, pink not. Or pencil is a problem, pen not a problem. All right, let's go to the text. About 8.5% of youth affected according to research. Bam, that's a yellow because that's supporting, that's evidence that supports it could be a real problem. Very good. A new study concludes, so we're going to go ahead and read. Now you're going to hear some silence because I am reading and I am highlighting. So remember, we're looking at our question, is video addiction a real problem? So as you can see, we already have a lot of yellow. So this author clearly is saying that it's a problem. So as you can see, we have a lot of yellow and a little pink. What about this sentence? That's definitely for the pink. And look at this last paragraph. That may go for the pink category as well. So now let's go to page 3, where we have the question, is video game addiction a real problem? Well, let's look at the evidence that we have. We have a lot of yellow that would suggest But let's continue to cite. So, first we're going to do, we wrote down the question. We're going to, is video game addiction a real problem? So, state the idea that you have about the text. Bam. Based on what I've read, this is my idea about the text. The next thing I want to do is I want to cite what in the text led me to that idea. Well, let's see. There's several things that I could look at. Bam. Here's what I'm going to choose. They're damaging other areas. Video games are damaging other areas of their lives. Not just one area, but many areas. Then I want to explain how this piece of evidence. Now, typically, when you're citing textual evidence, here's a footnote. You always want to give two pieces of textual evidence. And then you may want to go back and read some and maybe change it. Right here, 8.5% of American youth who play show multiple signs. That indicates it may not be a real problem. It's only 8.5%. So you always want to have at least two. The rule of two. It says pathological gamers get worse in school. The next thing you want to do is once you've cited, once you've stated, and once you've cited, then you want to explain. So video games are damaging many areas of a teen's life, not just one area. So how does this support my statement that video game addiction may be a real problem? Video games bam. So there are my explanations. This is totally my opinion, but I'm backing it up with textual evidence. Now, I could be totally wrong, or you totally could disagree with me. So you could say, no, it's not. I am going to say, yes, it is. It's your choice. Now, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to decide yes or no. Is video game addiction a real problem? Then we're going to come together and we're going to discuss. All right. At this point, we should be ready to either do the US activity on your mastery activity guide, or we're going to move on to the U activities. See you later.